Welcome to today's lesson on political ideology and the political spectrum. We're going to take a look today at the way that the two different major parties in America divide along ideological lines. And ideology is a set of beliefs that a certain group of people share and hold together. And ideology is the basis for disagreement in politics and many other things. So, what I've drawn here is a grid that shows distinctions between authoritarianism and libertarianism. Libertarianism is generally associated with more freedoms. People are allowed to do what they want under a libertarian system. The government has very little role in a libertarian system. In an authoritarian system, the government controls everything. And so in an authoritarian system, liberty is very limited, freedom is very limited, and the government has lots of power and control. And what I've drawn here is I've shown economics and I've shown social issues. Generally, you'll have people that break in different ways based on whether they are economically libertarian or economically authoritarian. Whether they are socially libertarian or socially authoritarian. Authoritarianism is considered associated with the right, and libertarianism, in terms of social issues, is associated with the left. So here's how this sort of breaks out. Let's say you are a social liberal. That means you would support same-sex marriage. You'd say government shouldn't get in the way of people doing what they want to do. A social liberal would also be in support of a woman's right to choose an abortion. A social liberal would believe government has a role in solving problems like discrimination and should support affirmative action programs. That would be a socially liberal position up here. And economically, if you're an economic libertarian, that means that you think the government also should stay out of the economy. So libertarians, generally on economics, think that the government should not get involved in taxing people very highly. Taxes should be very low. Economic libertarians would argue that the government should not have a major role in healthcare, Social Security, food stamps, government programs like that should be extremely limited or perhaps not exist at all. So, an economic libertarian would be on this end of the political spectrum. Economic libertarians is associated usually with the Republican Party. Economic libertarianism supports the free market, supports lower taxes and fewer government programs. However, social libertarianism is usually associated with the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party usually supports same-sex marriage, or at least a right to a civil union for same-sex couples. The Democratic Party is usually pro-choice, and most members of the Democratic Party support programs like affirmative action. So, on the libertarian question, Democrats are more likely to allow social freedoms, whereas Republicans are more likely to allow economic freedoms. Now let's talk about economics. Economically, in authoritarianism, let's talk about authoritarianism. Authoritarianism suggests a large role for government. So, conservatives tend to be socially authoritarian. That's most Republicans. Most Republicans are socially authoritarian in North Carolina, at least. Not necessarily in the Northeast or the Northwest. You have different examples of republicanism in different places, just like not all Democrats are the same. But many Republicans, especially the far right wing of the party, what's called the Tea Party movement right now, would be anti-gay marriage. They would not support same-sex marriage. That makes them socially authoritarian down here. They would not support affirmative action. They would not support a woman's right to choose an abortion. So if you believe government should get involved in limiting the right of people to get married, in limiting the right of people to decide what to do over their own bodies, then you would be considered a socially authoritarian or a very conservative person. The flip side of that, on the Democratic side, is that Democrats, many of them, are more willing to go with government involvement, a more authoritarian position, when it comes to economics. Democrats are more willing to have higher taxes Democrats are more willing to spend money on social programs like Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security, food stamps, and are more willing to pass laws that limit the freedom of companies. Laws like the environmental protections that prevent companies from polluting, laws like safety regulations that require companies to do expensive things like install safety belts in cars, install airbags in vehicles. These are not things that car companies automatically did on their own. These are things that were initially required in safety standards and then became commonplace within the car industry. And Democrats also, that doesn't mean that Republicans don't like airbags. Please don't take it like that. At this point, everybody likes many of the regulations that we currently have, but there are many Republicans that would like to repeal and get rid of the minimum wage. Some some economic libertarians think we shouldn't have any minimum wage at all. So that's a basic breakdown, and down here you see how it breaks down on party lines. It is interesting to note that some Republicans are beginning to change on these social issues. Some Republicans are beginning to say, you know what, let's go ahead and be okay with same-sex marriage because that'll allow us to focus more on the economic issues. Democrats tend to focus on these economic issues, and Republicans in many cases, but not always, tend to focus more on social issues, enforcing religious values such as the prohibitions on same-sex marriage. And prohibitions on abortion, those sorts of things. Alright, we'll get back to more of this. I'm sure you have questions. This can be kind of confusing, and we'll talk more about it in class together and give more examples together there. Thanks.